Okay, good morning everyone. Assalamualaikum semua. Morning and welcome to Akaf Academy. Alright, so today our training session will be about customer service. The title of the course would be Service Under Pressure. And first and foremost, I would like to thank everyone for making your way here. Thank you for your time. And before we start, I would like to do a little bit of understanding about each and every one of you. So maybe we can start with the lady over here. So just a simple introduction about your name, where you're from, and what do you do? Yeah.
Yes, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Husna. I'm from Skyview Clinic.
Okay.
As an admin assistant of CSPO, which Chief Strategy and People Officer.
Okay. Okay. So Skyview Clinic,
Yeah.
the one beside here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my office over there.
Oh, opposite. Okay.
Thank you.
And you mentioned you are working as an admin and also chief.
No, under Chief.
Oh, under the CSPO.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you mainly do over there?
Documentation, anything about
Do you interact with customers on a daily basis?
yeah, people coming.
Okay.
It's like we hire people.
Okay. Alright, understood. Okay, thank you. Husna, right? Okay.
Nama saya Nur Ashikin, Medikasari. Saya dari company Redicare Center Berhad. Basically, what my position in there is help desk personnel.
Help desk personnel. Okay.
That's what I do is answering phone call, and then pass to technical team lah.
Okay.
To maintenance service.
Maintenance service. Okay. Your company is what's the name of the company again?
Redicare.
Redicare.
Center Berhad.
Okay. What do they do? Like
Facility management.
facility management. Okay.
In hospital.
Okay. Understood. So you are mainly your job scope mainly is dealing with inbound calls and making outbound calls as well. Okay. Understood. Okay. Thank you. Ashikin. Ashikin. Okay. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Imano from Nigeria International Student Coordination.
Okay.
Actually, I specialize on cybersecurity and web development in the AI.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Emmanuel.
Okay.
Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Okay. Emmanuel from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And you are specializing in cybersecurity. Okay. So now you are done with your studies and you are currently looking for a job, working. Okay. Did you used to work before in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you used to work as before?
Yeah, I used to handle data, organizational data. That's data.
Handle data. Okay. Okay. Did you used to have to deal with clients or people face to face before, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Understood. Okay. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yes.
I'm from Perempadanan National Berhad.
Okay.
I'm PR work related.
Okay. PR work related. Okay. Fuad. All right. So, Mr. Fuad, how long have you been working in the industry?
In Penang for 16 years.
For 16 years.
My total experience more than 25 years.
Okay, understood. So I think you are very, very experienced in this field then. Okay. Welcome our new comer. Yeah. We are just in the ice-breaking session. Yeah, you did not miss out much. So Husna, Ashikin, Emmanuel, Fuad. Maybe we can move on to you first. Yes.
My name is
Zubair.
I'm usually in the logistics department where I need to face-to-face with the customer, making sure that the package is delivered.
Okay.
Any product, any parcel, everything is face-to-face.
Okay, logistics. Okay. Yes, next.
Morning, hi.
Morning.
My name is Mas Mahir Rosie. I'm a training provider from Adostar.
Okay.
I will specialize in training trainer and HRBC technical course.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
So hi, I'm
Waalaikumsalam.
Harun Foundation, so I'm working as a PR project manager for the program.
Okay. PR project manager. Okay. All right. Thank you for the introduction. Now, I believe most of you deal with facing clients from a day-to-day basis. So today, hopefully, this course, Service Under Pressure, will help and will benefit you in a way, in one way or another. All right. So coming back to me, my name is Harun Cham, and I've been in the customer service industry for more than a decade now. So I used to, my first experience was actually working in a cinema. So I started off actually as a cashier, and then eventually working as a sales staff in bookstores, eventually working as a salesperson in Radio Shack, and eventually I've grown my career into working in Agoda, which is an online booking platform. And my previous experience was actually in MNC based in Philippines. So it was there in Philippines where I actually worked my way up from a customer service specialist up to the head of department of the training department for the customer service. Alright, so today what I'm about to share with you comes from my humble experience over the 10 years of working in the customer service industry. And these 4 hours mainly would be some of the ideas that I have summarized, and I find hopefully that it might be beneficial for all of you. Alright, so Service Under Pressure, the title itself, I believe all of you would be able to relate in terms of working in a customer service line or having to deal with customer every day. Definitely it comes with a certain kind of pressure. Having to deal with difficult customers, having to deal with customers who have a lot of problems. As a customer service agent, we need to handle and find ways to deal with them in a very tactful way, so that we are able to protect the brand, protect the image of the company, and at the same time elevate our service to the customers as well. Alright, so I would like to start off with sharing from one of my experience working in Agoda. I used to have a client who made, so everyone knows Agoda, right? Anyone doesn't know Agoda? So Agoda is like booking.com. It's a platform for you to place bookings for hotels, and you can place bookings for flight as well. Alright, so one of my most challenging customer experience was actually a customer who had already made a booking for a hotel, okay, in India. Okay, so the client have already made a booking, have a confirmed booking, so he traveled to India. When he arrived in India, I still remember at that time it was midnight. He arrived India at midnight, and of course first thing he does is to look for the hotel, get himself checked in. Alright, so many of you I believe know this term called BNPL, Buy Now Pay Later. If you are familiar with TikTok or TikTok Pay, you can buy now and pay later, pay in credit terms. Okay, so same goes for the hotel booking as well. What he did was, he did a buy now, pay at the hotel. Okay, but when he arrived at the hotel during midnight, one problem occurred. The hotel actually told him, we could not find your booking. If you are someone that is traveling overseas and you have already made a booking with a certain platform, and for you to travel over there and to get the hotel telling you that we cannot find your booking, what happens next? What would your reaction be? Angry. What about you, Emmanuel?
Very angry.
Very angry. So definitely, if I were to travel to somewhere and I have already secured a booking on my platform where I already have a booking confirmation, I would be really upset. Okay, so let me just put this story here. India hotel. No booking. All right. That would be one of my most challenging experience to face because customer calls up and starts to, because he is very angry, it's late at night, he wants to rest, he wants to sleep, very frustrated, call up, started scolding, swearing. So that was my most challenging experience. Now, later on we are going to come back to this story to further explore how do we actually deal with this kind of customers. Okay, but before that, maybe I can ask Miss Husna, right? What was your most challenging experience having to deal with customers? On top of your head, if you have any. Later, I'll come to you guys as well. So, is there, yeah, for you? What was your most challenging one? So you said you work in a clinic. Sure.
My previous company.
Definitely.
Okay, it's not about clinic.
Okay.
So before I was as a assistant branch manager.
Okay.
99. So what the most challenging that I face is for customer. I have to
What was the issue of the customer?
the price.
Price.
Sometimes in 99, price always change.
Okay.
So another employee not change the price.
Okay.
So, the customer will come to me and scold.
To complain about the
Yeah,
price.
correct.
Okay, so price difference.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Hazrin, what about you? Over your years of working experience, maybe you could share one of the most challenging experience.
I used to work in Taylor's University before. Taylor's University.
Taylor's, okay.
It's more like experience dealing with parents of the university students, because most of them are like international, right? They are coming to Malaysia and then they want to pursue some degrees. So they find that Malaysia is quite cheap, right, in terms of the fees and etc. So they need to explain to them like the language barrier, I think.
Okay.
Like you have to really be patient and then understand, because especially no offense to check some comment or like, because the communication they use is very basic. So we need to be very patient in explaining, and then maybe perhaps we can get someone that can speak fluently to help us. Like,
Okay.
That's the
Understood.
barrier, the language barrier.
What was the biggest issue that a client of yours have ever gave you?
They misunderstood of the fee structure.
Misunderstood of the fee structure. Okay. So something to do with money also. Okay. Misunderstood fee structure. Okay. Zubair, yes. You said you mainly do logistics, right? Okay. So what is? Have you ever encountered any challenging moments?
Is when they give the wrong location.
Okay. So customers give the wrong location.
Usually they mistype or mispin. Now they're using pin, right?
Okay.
So
Okay. Logistic. Wrong location. Okay, what about you, sir? Fuad, Mr. Fuad? What was the most challenging moment that you have ever encountered?
Giving loans, we follow up documents.
Okay.
Never give. But when customer give today, they expected the loan to be approved the next day.
Okay. Loan. about you, Emmanuel? Have you ever encountered any challenging moments when you used to work in Nigeria?
Yeah. Actually, there is this customer who made some purchase
Okay.
on our platform, international delivery. I work with them, so the customer actually requested for a 2 crates.
Okay.
2 crates of drinks, but mistakenly put on the database during the application. Mistakenly put 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So
The
company now
customer.
send 3.
Okay.
So she rejected 1.
Okay.
So now coming back to me now, I was asked to do verifications and the rest. So after payment, because my company said she must pay, and this is where now problem is.
Okay.
She said she cannot pay for the extra one. So we invite her to the company. So I was able to talk to her until she calmed down. And still, because we already have it on the database, and we cannot delete it.
Okay.
Because the company has taken note of it already.
Understood.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we now pleaded with her to take it. Somehow she might pay.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
But it was the client who requested for 3, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. What about you, Miss Ashikin?
Usually the difficult, challenging is the customer itself. Usually their attitude, correct one.
Okay, facing customers with attitude. Okay, in which line of work where you mostly met this kind of customer? Your current job? Okay, and usually what is the situation where they will give you the most biggest headache in terms of attitude?
Situation, they need it urgent.
Okay, they want something urgent. Okay, for example, what is one thing that they usually ask for?
They want the machine to repair urgently, so I said, we will pass it to technical team.
Okay.
But they said, no, I want to direct to your top management like that.
Okay, and last, yes.
I'm also like I think attitude.
Okay.
Because sometimes people they want something urgent. We have our own date.
Okay.
But when we guide them what to, for example, they have to submit some documents, but they didn't finish the document and they put the pressure on me lah.
Okay.
So they expect me to settle it for them.
Okay.
But the documents is with them.
Understood. Okay. So again, timeline problem. They are supposed to provide the documents just like the just like the loan that Mr. Fuad mentioned just now, and they expect you to get everything done immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Documents. Okay. In terms of customer service, what is the one common phrase that usually people would say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you all heard about customer is always right? Or customer is king? Okay, so when customer gives you attitude, are you able to fight back or, say something back to the customer? No, cannot. Yes, can. Yes, can. This one cannot. Or what about in logistics when customer gives you the wrong location and expect you to send it to the right location? How would your response usually be? Are you able to say something back to them, or usually you just keep it to yourself and get the things done?
I will find a solution.
Find solution. Okay, so everyone is familiar with this phrase, right? Customer is king, customer is always right. Okay, so in terms of this, I have to agree with that phrase as well, because If you are a frontline personnel or customer service agent or an agent who is facing with clients day to day for your company, this phrase matters a lot. Customer is always right, customer is king, because without that phrase or that mindset, people tend to deviate and tend to fight back with the customer without thinking too much of the consequences, without thinking too much of what might happen after that. Okay, so we'll revisit all this of your problems, but let me come back to this hotel problem for now. Okay, so I'm the customer service specialist for Agoda. I got a phone call from the client. He's already in India with the family, and he's complaining to me, your platform, okay, with all the curse, all the swearing, your platform sucks, your platform is bad, okay, I've already made a booking, why is the hotel rejecting me? And I'm able to see on the platform that his booking is confirmed, but because of the buy now pay later, hotel usually, what time do you check into the hotel? 12 to 2 p.m, 3 p.m. Usually if you are late, you can check in about 5, 6. Is it normal as a hotel owner, if you have a booking that is not paid yet, belum bayar, have not paid, if you are the owner and you have already waited until night time, the customer did not arrive, is it normal for the hotel to let go of the room for another customer? Yes? No? Yes. Okay, so usually in the hotel line, they will have this policy whereby if you need a late check-in, you need to inform the hotel. If not until a certain timing, the hotel will let go of the booking, especially for bookings that are not paid yet. Especially for bookings that are not paid yet. Okay. So what I did, I told the client about the hotel policy. Okay, but firstly, we have to understand as a customer service agent, the first thing is we need to identify the pressure point. The pressure point would be customer is already tired, customer has already traveled a long distance, customer is expecting to get his hotel room and get some rest. Okay, so now when I explain the hotel policy, customer's reaction definitely, he will be defensive. But no, I've already made the booking, it's my right to get the hotel room. Customer will definitely fight back with you. Now, yes, it was the wrong on the customer's end, but the client gave me additional reasoning. I did not manage to check in the hotel earlier because the flight was delayed. Now the customer mentioned something that was beyond his control. The flight was delayed. Now I know the hotel policy is so and so, but then now with additional information, customer mentioned he wasn't flight delay. Now who is right and who is wrong now?
I think the customer was supposed to have informed.
The customer was supposed to inform. If I were to continue telling the finding how the customer should inform, customer would be able to tell me, but I'm a foreigner, I do not have a SIM card yet, my flight was delayed when I was doing a transit in Hong Kong or so and so. How am I supposed to call the hotel if I do not have a SIM card? Now you as the customer service agent for Agoda, if I did not solve this issue properly, would the customer then in the future tell his friends, don't book with Agoda anymore? If you book with Agoda, even though the booking is confirmed, when you reach the hotel, the booking can be cancelled, or the hotel will not be able to find your booking. Will the customer mention that to his friends? Yeah? Even though if the entire fault or the entire responsibility is on the client or the customer, because of how the customer service agent deals with the situation, it will heavily affect the future review of that platform. Alright. Okay, again, let me put it on pause and let's get on with the presentation first. Later, we'll come back to this situation again. Alright. Okay, so for today, what is the learning outcome for today? This will be the 4 main learning outcomes. Alright. Number 1, to identify pressure situations. So as customer service agent, one of the main thing that I realize is that we need to be able to identify pressure situations as soon as we can. Because usually when a customer or a client, usually when they approach you with something or they approach you for help, usually there is some problem or there is some pressure, whether is it time pressure or whether is it something related to the product defect, or whether is it something related to the service. Something somewhere went wrong, and we as the customer service agent, we as the customer frontline personnel, we need to be able to quickly identify the pressure point. We need to identify what went wrong, what is the problem, or what is causing the client to be frustrated, to be unhappy about the situation. So that's the first thing, identify pressure situations. Next, we need to be, throughout these 4 hours, we will be learning on how to communicate professionally as well to the clients to whom we are dealing, using proven communication techniques during difficult interactions. Alright, so why is communicating professionally important? Yes.
Yeah, I think communicating professionally is really important to enable the customer service officer to serve the customers well.
Yes.
To make them understand specifically the main reason why things are like that.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing. So, the reason why we need to be able to communicate professionally, like what Emmanuel said, once we identify a certain situation, once we are able to pinpoint the exact problem, the next step is to be able to communicate a certain way so that you know how to diffuse the situation from an angry customer to become a less angry customer, and hopefully at the end of the day to become a satisfied customer. So the communication part is very, very important. This part, finding the problem, I think everyone, no problem with that. We are all very good at finding problems. Is that right? Yes. Once we see a problem, I think it's in our natural instinct to be able to very quickly identify that, oh, okay, this customer is being very pushy. Okay, this customer is being very frustrated. Right, so moving on, third, today we are going to talk about also service recovery. How do we actually handle complaint and what kind of framework? Today I'll be sharing with you one framework as well in terms of how do we actually handle complaint and using the framework to diffuse the situation and apply this service recovery method. Okay, so beyond communicating, we need to have like a framework on how to deal with certain situations. It's like a SOP. So different companies, they have different SOP in terms of dealing with a certain situation. So in terms of dealing with clients, customer service, today I'm going to be sharing with you also a simple framework, a simple but effective framework to deal with customers. Now, the last one will be managing your emotions. So, when a client is frustrated, when a client is angry, when a client is unhappy, does it help if you as a customer service agent, you become frustrated together? Will it help the situation? Kalau klien tu dah marah-marah, if they are already angry, and you get angry together with the client as well, would that help the situation become better or worse? It will become worse, right? Okay, so our last part of today, what we are able to learn, hopefully, would be on how we can actually cope with managing the emotions. Okay? Right, so far clear? Alright, so anytime during this 4-hour session, if you have any questions at all, feel free to just raise up your hand, feel free to just throw your questions. Okay? Alright, perfect. So for now, is there any questions that you all want to ask before we move on to the next slide? All good? Okay. Harun, there's actually refreshments over there at the back. Yeah, and also just for your information, the toilet is out the sliding door on go straight through the sliding door on the left. Yeah, so if any one of you needs to use the washroom, just feel free to make your way. Yeah. Okay. Okay, the first part we are going to actually talk about the modern standard of customer service. So this would be understanding what is the current situation in terms of customer service, what usually frontline personnel would have to deal with. Just a simple introduction or simple run through. Okay. Now, in terms of customer service, is it true that customers' expectations is always changing? From last time to now, last time maybe our technology is not that advanced yet, so in terms of the response from customer service, it is not as fast as now. But as our technology keep on advancing, customers' expectations evolve as well. They expect things to be done faster. Is that right? So maybe last time when we had a problem, our expectations for the problem to be solved might be, even days. Our expectation would be from 3 days to 5 working days. But now, with the availability of handphones, faster internet, the customers are actually expecting their problems to be solved instantly. There is no more delayed response, there's no more delayed gratification. Customers want their problem to be solved as soon as possible. So this is one of the main challenges as a customer service personnel, to be able to solve and cope with customer expectations. So for example, logistics. Customers provide you with the wrong pinpoint location, but at the same time they expect their parcel to be delivered instantly, right away, on the same day. They do not want the parcel to be delivered tomorrow, even though the responsibility is on their end. Okay, so first, customer expectation. I still remember when I was working in Philippines. Okay, so dealing with a client with a problem with the account. Okay, so it was a gaming company, and the client actually, the account was banned, forced to be closed due to certain regulations, and because of that, he sent in a complaint, didn't manage to get a response from email, tried to contact us through live chat, didn't get his problem solved, called us up and expected the problem to be solved immediately. But of course, as a customer service agent for the company, when we realize that these are the customer's expectations, it is our duty and our job to solve it as soon as possible. Okay, so first, customers' expectations keep on changing. Customers expect faster, smoother service across both digital and even physical channels. Next, customer service and customer experience. Anyone knows what's the difference between customer service and experience? Both sounds the same, but they are actually both quite different in terms of customer service is actually a one-time interaction or a single solution to customers' problem. For example, if customers today contacted you through their live chat channel, okay, through your website, asking for a certain specific answer. For example, may I know how do I get my machine repaired? Then you will reply to the customer, this is the step. You need to send in this form, you need to fill in this form, you need to provide a certain photo or recording, and then we will be able to process your request to repair the machine. Correct. So this answer back to the client is the customer service, the action of customer service. You are providing a specific answer to their specific question. Now, what's the difference between that and customer experience? Okay, so customer experience is the entire journey of how customers feel when they are looking for a solution from you. Okay, so not just from you providing the customer the answer on how to get the machine repaired, you actually help the client to communicate with the department that is handling the issue. So just now you mentioned the department was the technical team. Is client able to contact technical team directly? Unable to. So the customers will have to go through you. But it will be your responsibility to make sure that the whole process of getting this machine fixed from the first point of contact through you until the end when the machine is finally fixed, the whole journey of that is what we call the customer experience. So customer experience responsibility, it can be also your company's other department's responsibility as well. So it is a team effort to make sure the experience of this customer is well taken care of. Because even though you might provide the right answer to the client, you might provide the right steps on how to get the machine repaired, but if the next step when customer is actually dealing with the technical team or maybe the logistic team where the customer will have to send the machine through a logistic team, if at any point of contact the service is not managed well, the whole experience of this customer might be jeopardized due to one single aspect down the chain. Okay, so customer service versus customer experience. Usually, as a customer service agent, okay, the front line of the company, usually you would have to know almost all of the aspect of how the company runs to be able to provide a better experience for the client. So for example, PR. Okay, so you are PR project manager, you mentioned. Okay. So as a project manager, definitely you would know the whole process of everything that runs. Who are usually your clients?
My clients, because we have camps, we have programs for new Muslim, we have programs for the adult also.
Okay.
So it's like every walk of life is my client.
Okay, so every walk of life is your client. Okay. So how many different departments do you break down towards?
We have program departments and handling all the programs, and we have the youth department, and we have the one for the helping the staff, and for the new Muslim we have 4 departments.
Okay, so all these department, okay, let me just break it down simply. If you understand what each department does, is it correct when someone new approaches you, instantly you'll be able to know, okay, I need to refer this person to this specific department to get this specific problem solved?
Yes.
Right? Okay, so that would be the whole customer experience. By you answering the client,
Correct.
that is just the first point of interaction, that is the first point of customer service. But by you ensuring that this client gets his or her problem solved through the next department, that would be the whole customer experience journey. Yeah, and it is essential for basically every company, for their customer service personnel especially, to at least know the whole structure of the company, so that at any point of time, if there's any problem, you would know where to refer the client to, you would know how to actually communicate strategically with the client. Because sometimes it is unavoidable, okay, this is unavoidable, yeah, in one company structure, not every department is working at its 100% efficiency. Is that right? Okay, so for training provider as well, maybe you have your person that handles the training, the person that handles the admin work, the person that handles the registration. Not every time everyone is performing as good as you. Is that right? Okay, bukan selalu semua orang dia perform as good as you. Maybe you are the best, no doubt you will be the best in your company, but not every time the entire company is working with 100% efficiency. But at least if you know the whole structure, okay, I know that maybe logistic, I know that my driver today, he is not doing his best, he's late, he's having some problems. At least when the client calls, you know at which level there is a problem, you know how to deal with that problem, you are able to find a solution faster. So that is very important in terms of customer service and customer experience, because by just answering with the right answer is not enough. For example, if I were to just answer this client that went to India, sir, you went against the hotel policy, it's your problem, done. Is that right? No, not good enough. It is the right answer. It is the client's responsibility to call the hotel to inform I'll be late, check in late, I have my flight delayed. It is his responsibility. But for me as a customer service personnel, I need to know the whole structure. I need to be able to find a solution as soon as possible for the client. Yeah. So can you guys take a guess? Is the client able to check into the hotel? Just a guess. Yes, no? No? Okay, so I tried to call the hotel actually. I tried to call the hotel to check, do you have any other rooms available, you know, mana tahu ada at least maybe bukan the same room, maybe not the same room, maybe an upgraded room, okay. So I actually tried to call the hotel. What did the hotel mention to me? The hotel pun actually quite lansy lah, he quite arrogant, the hotel. Told me, no, customer didn't call us, it's not my problem. Hotel, you know, big hotel, many clients, especially in India, population is huge. So hotel told me what? They told me, hotel fully booked. You find your own way. Because it's not the hotel's problem, right? Not the hotel problem, it is the client's problem. But now the client problem become whose problem? My problem. So I have to find solution. So is being a customer service personnel easy? Is it easy to deal with client? No, not easy, not easy. What about Mr. Fuad? Is it easy? Based on your experience? It's not easy. Yeah. Very stressful to deal with clients, to deal with different kind of problems, and needing to find a solution for them. It's not easy. Okay, next. Now the third aspect I would like to talk about would be in terms of technology, AI, and the human value. Everyone have your phone with you, right?
Yes.
Everyone use ChatGPT?
Yes.
Okay, everyone use ChatGPT, yeah? So later, maybe some of the questions, I would like you to just use your ChatGPT, open up a new chat, just input the same question that I will give everyone, and then we'll compare and see different phone, same robot, ChatGPT, different phone, what kind of answers that akan keluar, what kind of answers that will come out, yeah. Okay, so in today's in our current time, our technology is so advanced that we are able to actually look for any answers instantly. Even though I may not be in the same industry as you, even though I may not be the same studying the same things as you, I might not have any idea on how the clinic or your hospital industry works, but because of technology and AI, I'm able to at least get some kind of information instantly if I want to. So I just have to take up my phone. If I have a question in terms of the hospital industry, I just need to find out, okay, I have this machine, this model, what is the model, how long does it take to fix, what is the cost of fixing it. If I don't fix it with your company, where can I fix it with? What are other options I can fix it with? If I'm doing logistics, instead of using ABC company of logistics, they always send to the wrong location. Which other options do I have? I can instantly look for different options. The answer might not be accurate. Okay, the answer might not be accurate, but at least I'm able to look for some information, some extra information for me to refer, extra resources. Okay, but speaking of that, although AI and technology is very advanced now, one thing that AI cannot do would be replacing human empathy, replacing human judgment, and replacing the genuine connection. Everyone pernah guna chatbot? Everyone have you all used chatbots before? So chatbots are like maybe some of the website that you go on to, they have this chatbot service where you click, there's a small chat box that appears and you can ask questions. So sometimes even on TikTok nowadays, where customers can actually ask questions and they get the chatbot to reply. Yeah, everyone experienced using that before, yeah. One thing good about the chatbot is it can replace your customer service agent and operate 24/7. You just need to set it up one time. Okay, set it up, list out the structure of possible questions. For example, training provider, usually people will ask, when is your next training, what are your available training courses, what are your available modules, how much are the fees for this and this training. Usually all this can be preset if you use AI chatbots. You can preset all these questions.
AI chatbots
What's the business?
website.
It can be a website. It can be, usually people implement it into their website, into their brand website. Yeah. So these chatbots, the advantages of it is that if you are a business owner, you already know what are the common questions that your client will ask you. So you just have to build it once, input all the questions, frequently asked questions. Even if a client were to message you during midnight when you are asleep, because you have this chatbot function, they are able to get the answer right away. For example, if someone were to ask, I have a machine that's spoiled, what is the process to get it repaired? So if your company have already built a chat box, AI chatbot, implement inside the website, the client will be able to write into that chatbot and then get a standard answer. But to come back to this, AI cannot replace empathy, judgment, and genuine connection. So although there is advantages of using chatbot, but if we were to come back to this example, chatbot will tell the client,
Find your hotel.
find your hotel. Because the responsibility is on the client. The chatbot, because the chatbot is prefixed with all the policy, hotel policy, the booking policy and things like that, the chatbot will immediately tell the client, this is your problem. Finally.
Extra charges for the chatbot.
Yes, depending on what kind of chatbot services that you use, depending on the AI model that you use, the fee structure is different. It's like a different, yeah. Okay. Now, to use AI and implement it in customer service, no doubt it is a very, very useful tool. So for those of you who have not tried using it, maybe after this you can go back and explore. But the main point is this, AI should be used to assist your job. So for the certain things that you know, it's standard answer, very, very standard answer. For example, how much does your service cost? The service cost is very standard. Okay, you can preset that answer so that anytime, any day, even when you're sleeping, somebody were to ask you that question, the AI chatbot will actually answer to that question right away. Yeah. But with that, you need to be able to think of what are some of the things that AI chatbot cannot do, which is, if just in case the client were to ask, what if I want a tailored package, a custom package? Then your standard pricing, is not right anymore, because it needs to be a custom pricing. What if I want this package tambah dengan additional with something else? How would it be? Yeah. So AI can assist, but it cannot replace everything. Okay. But of course, with this, a lot of clients nowadays, they expect everything to be as quick as AI chatbot, because they are so used to using, a lot of websites now are actually using AI chatbot, so they are very used to getting answers straight away, immediately. Yeah. So with this comes the challenges to customer service personnel as well, because then they will complain, why are you responding so slow? Why I go to your competitor website, the response laju je, very fast. Why are you giving me such a slow response? Yeah. So AI and technology and the human value, these are some of the important factors that we need to look at when we talk about customer service as well. Alright, now lastly, under such high pressure situation, dealing with clients, dealing with different kind of problems, professionalism needs to remain at a highest level, because while all these are happening, while the changes are happening, while all the different factors comes into play, one thing that does not change is that customers or clients, they always expect, their expectation towards a customer service agent, regardless of which industry, which company, they are always expecting the highest form of professionalism. Even something slightly below that will make them unhappy, they will take up their phone and comment, review. Okay, this one bad, this company bad. Miss Ashikin is bad. She does not want to help me repair my machine. Yeah. So professionalism is the utmost important factor in terms of customer service. We need to be able to find a way to work our way around it, to make sure at least our professionalism while serving the clients maintain at a certain standard, so that at least the client feels a certain level of satisfaction. And this is the part where it's going to be the most challenging, but at the same time, if we are able to build this professionalism consistently, if we are able to output a certain level of conduct, a level of high professionalism in terms of our conduct, this is where the opportunity comes, where it builds the customer's trust and confidence in the long run. And this is the part where it will help the business to grow further. It will elevate the business, and it will help the business in terms of the brand, in terms of the perception of the brand. Okay, so just a recap: customer service in modern workplace. These are the 4 things that we just talked about. Customers' expectations always changing. the difference between the service and also the customers between customer servicing and customer experience. Next would be in terms of the technology, AI and the human value. And last but not least, in terms of customer service, one of the main important factor would be how professional are we in dealing with clients. Okay. So with that, before we go into our next module, let's take a short break, 5 to 10 minutes. You can get your water, your refreshments and your toilet break first, and then we'll come back and continue with our next module. Okay, so our next module will be on professional communication and frontline skills. So this one is more towards the communication part with clients. Okay. Now, how many of you usually deal with clients through verbal, like call, verbal or either face-to-face lah. Okay. What about you? Call, answering call. What about you? Live chat or text or call? Text. Okay, so more towards messaging. Okay. But most of you verbal lah. Okay. So, in terms of communicating, the first aspect of it would be the tone control and your pacing. Okay, what is tone control? Tone control is mainly your pitch of your voice, a high pitch or low pitch or low tone. Usually if a customer is angry, would it be better if you have a slightly lower down tone, or if you are talking in a higher pitch? Lower tone. High pitch would be quite agitating. Would you agree with that? If somebody is already angry, and if you are raising your pitch to be a high pitch, and especially high pitch plus fast pace, that would further agitate the client more. But instead, if you have a problem, and in terms of your intonation, you are able to lower down your tone and pace out your message slowly, not reacting straight away to the customer, that will help you a lot in terms of communicating with the client. Yeah. The client, they want to be on a high pitch, they want to scold you, they want to, do whatever. It is okay, let them do it. If they want to talk very fast, they want to talk over you, your job is not to fight them in terms of raising your voice or talking faster than them. That is a big no-no as well. Your job is to actually reaffirm yourself, lower down your tone, control your pacing. That is the most crucial aspect in terms of the intonation, tone control and pacing, because by lowering your tone and by slowing your pace, you are actually getting yourself to be in control of the conversation, not being carried away by how the client is reacting to you. Okay, so first part, tone control and pacing. When the customer actually sense urgency in your voice, that is when they will be further agitated. Right? They will ask you questions like, why are you talking so fast? Why are you trying to rush me? Yeah. They will find further points to attack you further. Right? So, by controlling your tone and your pacing as well, actually it gives you more time to think about the solution. Yeah. Think of it this way. When the client is angry at you, when they are throwing maybe some verbal attacks on you, maybe even personal attack towards you, think of it as using the time where they are attacking you, you just keep your mouth shut, let them finish, let the client finishing, let them finish scolding you, giving you all the bad mouthing, giving you all the bad review, all the bad words. Just stay calm. At the same time, use that time to think of the solution. Okay, so pacing very important. Okay, now let's come to one of the example that was mentioned here. Okay, for example, the order quantity issue. Okay, just now Emmanuel mentioned one of his biggest challenges was facing a client who made an order request for supposedly two crates of drinks, but client mistakenly ordered 3. Okay, supposed to order 2 and mistakenly place order for 3 crates instead. Now for this issue, the biggest problem would be actually securing the payment for the items that the client ordered. Now, whether or not it is the client mistake of placing 3 or 2 doesn't matter anymore, because what already happened was 3 crates have already been ordered. Now, definitely when the problem arises, when the company is actually asking for payment, right, the client would start to defend himself or herself, saying that no, I only need 2, no, I did not place order for 3. Client might even say that I did not press 3. It is your system's problem. I only need 2, I only input 2, but then come out 3. Usually that would be the defense of the client, right? Right. So now when this issue arises, how did you handle it? Over the call or email or text?
It was a face-to-face.
It was a face-to-face, even more challenging, because you have to deal with the client right there and then. Yeah. Okay, so if it's a face-to-face and this kind of problem arises, usually if you do not keep your composure, that is where the argument starts. What is the pressure point for this? What is the pressure point for this, or what would be the trigger point for this problem? The trigger point is wrong order quantity issue. Okay, so you need to find out the problem first. The problem is with the quantity. With the quantity comes with the next issue is what? What is the difference between 3 and 2? The price. So the first problem is quantity. Now you know that the quantity is an issue, you need to automatically think of the next problem. The next problem would be the pricing. But before you even start to open your mouth and talk to the client about the pricing, you need to think of the solution. Will it affect your company if you take back, instead of 3, you take 2? Would it affect your company? The client want 2, you give 3. Client say I don't need 3, I need 2 only. Would it be a problem if you take back 1? Not a problem, right? Because customer only want 2, you take back 1. No problem, I can take back the 1 extra. Correct? I want 2 items, you give me 3, now I'm telling you I don't need 3, I only need 2. Is it a problem if I take back 1 as the company? Not a problem. But the problem will come when I'm asking. Client would most likely only want to pay for 2, correct? So what is the solution? Can the solution be asking the client to pay 2, I take back the 1 extra? Is it okay? If it's okay? Not okay. Why would it not be okay? Okay, because now the stock count in the system is changed. It's a problem. Okay. Another problem might be the item already sent to the client. Correct? The cost. Okay. Now, to take care of the client, should you focus on taking care of the client's feeling and the customer experience, or should you focus on taking care of the company costs? Which one first? Client first. Are you able to make that decision? No. Okay, maybe if you are not in the authority to make that decision, then you need to escalate and ask your supervisor. If you are in the authority, you yourself, you are the supervisor, you can make the decision, that is where you come up with the solution. If you cannot come up with an immediate solution, what should you do?
Contact higher up.
Contact higher up. There you go. Every single step there will and there must be a solution. There is no situation where you tell yourself there is no solution. There is always a solution. If you cannot make the decision to cover the costs and give the customer the pricing of 2, if you know that you have no authority, you are very clear of that, then you know the next solution is to ask your supervisor. And if you are face-to-face dealing with the client and you know that you cannot give the customer an answer right now, you just have to tell the client, I'll come back to you later. Yep, simple as that. Yes, there is always a solution. Yes, but you need to be clear. You need to be clear whether are you the person with the authority to give that decision. If you are, then you can come up with the solution. Telling the client, it is okay, it might be our system error. Okay, what I'll do for you now is, I will handle the cost of covering the return of that 1 extra crate, and on your end, you just have to make payment for 2. Instead of going back and forth with the client, no, it's not our system error, our system never have this kind of error, it's not our problem. Compared to that, focus on finding the solution instead. And when you think of the solution, it's very straightforward. What is the next immediate step that can be taken? If it's extra item, can we return the item? If we want to return the item, is there additional costs incurred? If there's additional costs incurred, am I, as a customer service agent, because I'm not sure what your position is, maybe you are the customer service supervisor or the manager, am I in the position to make a decision right there and then? If you know for yourself very clearly, you are in the position to make the decision, yes, go ahead, make the decision. If you are not in the position to make the decision, who is the decision maker? That's why we go back to just now what we mentioned. You need to know the structure of your company. You need to understand your company structure well. You know that you cannot make the decision. Who can I contact, or who is the next person I should contact? Yeah. That is very important, so that when you provide solution, when you want to tell your client that I want to get back to you, if you do not know your manager well, if the client asks you, how soon can you give me an answer? As soon as possible, if you don't know your manager. But if you know your manager, let's say today is Friday, and you know your manager, kalau Friday, if Friday the manager will be gone for the whole day, missing in action until the next Monday, you can prepare an answer for the client, telling the customer, don't worry, I will make sure that your situation is resolved by the following week, tentatively Tuesday. If you know the problem can be solved on Monday, you give at least 1 additional day, Tuesday, just in case, emergency. Because this is already a problem. If you give a very specific answer Monday, and if Monday you cannot solve, it becomes problem times 2. At first it was only 1 problem, now it becomes 2nd problem. Yeah, last week you told me you're going to give me an answer by Monday, now is Monday, you have not given me a solution yet. Yeah. So in terms of giving a timeline, okay, if you know you are able to give an answer on Monday, tell the client by Tuesday. by Tuesday, so that at least you already provide by Tuesday, right? At least if you give the solution by Monday, how would the client feel? Happy. Because client was expecting Tuesday, tiba-tiba suddenly Monday already problem solved, everything solved. Client will feel very happy because you are actually solving the problem ahead of time, earlier. Yeah. But then in terms of this, the whole idea is how you actually interact with the client face to face. First thing is your tone control and your pacing. And usually when you're pacing, when you want to talk fast, when you want to rush the problem, usually it is because you are not confident. You are not confident to solve that particular problem. So you need to find out where exactly is the problem, or in terms of yourself, what is it that you are not confident of? Is it because you are not the decision maker, or is it because you don't understand the situation, or purely because you just want to avoid the problem? That's why fast. Yeah. Some customer service agent think that if I'm able to speak faster, the problem will be solved faster. No, that's not the case. Yeah. Sometimes talking slower and talking lesser, you can find more ideas to solve the problem. Okay. So, tone and pacing, the first one. Second one is active listening. So this one actually relates to your tone control and pacing. Yeah. Second thing in the core communication skills is active listening. Now, whenever a client or anyone, okay, comes to you with a problem, comes to you with a question, usually 99% of the time, or maybe 99.9% of the time, they have a problem. The 0.01% is, maybe they finish their meal and they have nothing better to do, they just want to talk to someone. That is the 0.01%. But 99% of the time, usually when a client or a prospect talks to you, usually they have a problem, they have a situation, or they have a doubt, something that is not clear. That's why they are approaching you to ask. So one of the main core communication skills to have is to actively listen to the person that is coming to you. For example, this guy that went to India, if he has no problem, is he going to call me? No, he's just going to check into the hotel and enjoy his vacation. But because he has a problem, that's why he called and asked for help. Now, in terms of this person that's traveling to India, what was his problem again? Late check-in. But what was his issue? His personal issue. His personal issue, flight delay. But when he called me, is the hotel booking. If I did not actively ask further, instead I just mentioned about the hotel policy, that wouldn't help the situation. I can bring up the hotel policy, but further to that, I can also ask further questions. Ask further questions like, I noticed that you did not request for a late check-in. May I know what was the issue? Yeah. Try to find out more first. For example, logistic, wrong location. I realized that your location was set to this address. Now we are facing issue that the item was not delivered. May I know the reason? Was this address set by you, or was it automatically set? Try to find out more. When you start asking questions and you position yourself to actively listen to the client, you are able to find out exactly at which point the problem arises. Now, this one, very important, you are actively trying to listen and trying to find out the specific problem, not to judge who is right or wrong. Okay? Your active listening is not to judge who is right or wrong, or rather, you are actively listening to reaffirm yourself, to reconfirm for yourself, so that when you actually provide a solution, you are providing the most accurate solution for the client. Okay? Now, paraphrase to confirm understanding. Now, there are a few ways to ask for information. Okay, there are a few ways to ask for information. For example, the hotel booking. One of the ways that what I did was, I asked the client a very simple question. Can I just reconfirm what was the booking name made under? Because if maybe the client is calling up to ask about someone else booking, then it will be entirely a different situation, correct? There are a lot of ways of paraphrasing. Another way to ask for information, another question I asked was that, may I know if you have any other bookings made for the same hotel? Very important question to ask as well. Okay. Now, paraphrasing, you can also take the questions or take the problem that the client provided to you and reconfirm the same exact problem, just to reassure yourself. Alright, and from there you find out different ways or other related questions to throw back to the client. Alright, next, third, respond and don't react. Okay, when you already listen to the client and when you are pacing yourself, it is very important that you respond and don't react. Choose professional words, avoid blaming and avoid dismissive phrases under pressure. Okay, usually yes, it is a very high pressure situation whereby client will tell you, I did not order 3. Okay, I only ordered 2. Okay. It is best to avoid phrases whereby you are making it sound like the problem is their problem. Yeah. So, respond and don't react. It also means that the problem that is given to you, you should not try to make the problem back to the client. You should not try to make the client feels like the problem is theirs, because they are coming to you with the problem. You are supposed to provide a solution. Yeah. Now, when we say react meaning to say you are trying to defend yourself, you are reacting to the situation, you are trying to justify yourself, and you are trying to prove that the client is wrong. Most of the common mistake customer service personnel does is that they are quick to find out whose problem it is. They are very, very quick to identify whose problem it is, and immediately they will react to the situation, whereby they will say things like, but sir, it is your problem because you did not inform the hotel, that's why the booking was cancelled. Now that statement would make the client feel that, yes, it's my fault. Yes, he is blaming me for my fault, even though the customer service agent did not mention that specifically. Okay, so the communication skill, very important. We need to respond and not react outright to the client. Okay, now let's take one of the examples that was given here. Loan application by Mr. Fuad. So in terms of loan application, usually how's the process like? They will need to submit documents, and usually the first phase would be submitting documents, and then your team would review through.
Yeah.
And what would happen next? You get back to the client.
When you submit document, it take about 2 weeks to approve.
Okay.
For example, then that's the process lah.
Okay. And usually in the 2 weeks, if there is any issue, you would usually call up the client or you email?
Yeah, normally in order to avoid problem.
Okay.
So when we receive documents, if documents not complete, we will email immediately and inform them what's the document needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So if anything happened, so there is a backup. So we have the emails, so that they didn't comply, things. So for that case, so I have all the necessary that I should do. We have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a history, there's like a proof in the email trail.
Emails,
Okay.
and the next week send again. Still tak complete documents, so we email again. That the process happened about 2-3 months.
Okay.
Then by the end of 3 months, complete documents. The next day started to complete.
Okay.
So but we have
So the complaint usually will start when they actually provided all the
all the
documents.
documents, which is we waited for 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So usually do you call back to the client after all the documents are
In
completed?
this case, the client complained to HQ directly. So the HQ asked us. So we have to ready with all the emails, the chronological, everything.
Okay, all right. So from my understanding, when the complaint comes, you actually deal with the complaint internally within the company rather than the client, right? Because the client actually
By the time the client want to talk to us already.
Okay, the
when he complained to HQ, that means they don't want to talk to us.
Okay. And then your team would have to deal with the HQ personnel.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Okay, so in terms of loan application, documents incomplete, the process, from what I understand is, the process is typically through email, asking, going back and forth with the client, requesting for documents, and the issue arises when the client finally provided all the documentations and he is unhappy of how long the whole process took. But actually, the whole process took a long time because the client himself or herself did not provide the documents in a timely manner. It took a long time going back and forth with Mr. Fuad, and finally they submitted a complaint. So in terms of this kind of complaint, if it was anyone else here, how would you deal with this complaint? Since it's an internal problem, it's not dealing with the client anymore, it is dealing with your own company superior. Okay, so maybe Mr. Fuad has his way of dealing with the complaint. What about the rest of you here? You have all the proof in the email that client took a long time to get back to you, and you are actually following the whole procedure, company policy, to request for the necessary documents, and at the end of the day, you are being complained by the client to your HQ, to your higher ups, to your superior.
But I'd like to understand more about this scenario, like as Cik Fuad mentioned that he's done everything already, right? But it's like for one customer service, like specifically you handle a group of customers, like applying for don't know how many of customers that you're dealing with. I was the boss, I will ask like, okay, what actually the whole process. I will want to know the whole process because it's now become the internal issue, right? So you need to discuss with your superior, like you showing the boss, like this is what I did for the whole month. Like, for example, I did prompt her to give me this document by this date, etc. But she didn't come back to me, and then I keep on following up. So you have the receipt for all the things that you have done. So I will show this to my boss, like try to make sure that my boss also understand this is my struggle, that how can we make this thing better like in the future, because now we receive a complaint, right? So I want to make sure that there's not another complaints coming. maybe we can discuss with the management like how best, like maybe 1 to 3 customers in a month or something like that, just to ensure that you also work with less pressure and also the satisfaction with the customer will become better because you also less pressured by the system. That's what I think of.
Understood. Okay, that's a very good point. But what if currently the situation is on your end, you as the loan officer, every time the client gets back to you, you respond at the same day, right away, based on the email thread, if that's the scenario. And the entire problem internally within the company, everyone knows the entire problem falls on the client. Client responds 2 weeks after you reply, client responds 1 week after you ask for documentation, and maybe after they reply, the client did not actually provided the correct documentation. But on the customer service end, on the loan officer end, every single time there was a reply from client, the officer actually replied to the email thread immediately during the same day. So if that's the scenario right now, how would you actually deal with or how would you actually ask your superior to deal with this kind of complaint?
Can we offer something? I mean, like maybe it's not like bribery, but it's something like, you know, a token of like I'm not sure what's the whole process dealing with, because it's an application with the customer. Like you have this like type of premium customer, you know, like someone that always asks for, like always like very loyal to you. Sometimes they give like a token of conversation, like give or something, offer, I don't know, like because this is loan, right? It's not like someone investing in. Yeah, so.
Okay, now put your shoes right now in terms of if you are the manager of the team, not the loan officer anymore. Now you are stepping into the shoes of the manager of this officer, and you actually looked at the whole scenario. You know that your officer, your customer service personnel, it is not his or her fault anymore. It is the client's fault. And now you are receiving this. Okay, now you as the manager.
For my case, the customer's not happy.
Customer's not happy, yeah.
So I have to transfer all the file and ask the other officer from H2 to continue to do the loan.
Okay.
Then,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So they ask to someone that can handle it.
Yep. So in terms of
But the most important in this case, I'm not wrong. I did whatever I should do. Everything's all in order. So it's more to defend myself within the organization. So there's no wrong. I didn't do any wrongs. That is true. That is the guidelines. So well, I saved myself.
yeah. Actually, I did face this kind of situation before during in my previous experience working, whereby the customer service personnel himself is not at fault. The entire responsibility falls on the client. But the case was escalated to me. Okay, so now put yourself into the manager's shoe, with knowing that your agent did nothing wrong, and it was purely the fault of the client. But at the same time, the client is a high value client. Maybe it's a high value client. It might, the client might bring in a lot of business value. Yeah. The client is, for example, the loan for this situation, maybe the contact is through email and phone call, for example. So how would you react, or how would you respond to this kind of situation as the manager?
First I will think of the file, okay, before this, do we have the same kind of problem? Maybe I can find a solution from the previous case. So this is the one that my ex-manager was doing. So I will just copycat that. This is the easiest way.
Okay.
And secondly, maybe I will call the customer. We'll have one-to-one, maybe over coffee or something like. Because it's a premium customer, right?
Yep.
You have to make an extra effort to remove all this bad impression on your company. And also make her realize that excuse me, it's actually your fault. Like, why you blaming us? Like, why you putting my stuff this way? Like, you shouldn't be reacting that way. Maybe just in a certain way, like, she will know that, oh, actually it's my fault. So I will be more alert with the timing, etc. But I feel like human touch, like face to face, when you have the interaction, is better than a call or email. I think so. Because it's high network.
Okay, I come back to Emmanuel. So again, the situation, the case is client is applying for a loan. You are a company providing loan. Maybe you are a financial institution. You are providing loan services, and currently the ongoing process is your customer service agent went back and forth with the client requesting for documents. Your customer service agent actually did promptly provided every necessary step according to the company procedure. It was the fault on the client's end for not giving the necessary documents on time in a timely manner, which resulted into the delay of the whole process. The process might only take 1 month, but because of the client's reply, the time of the reply, it took more than 1 month. It went up to 3 months. Now finally, when all the documents were provided to your customer service agent, it is 3 months already. Now client is complaining after that. Right after the client provided all necessary documents, all the right documents after 3 months, now client is complaining to your company. Why did you take such a long time to process my loan? I'm asking for 1 million. I'm giving business to your company. Why is it taking so long? Remember, you are not the customer service agent, you are the manager. The case is being escalated to you. How would you solve this problem? So Ms. Hazrin mentioned just now, he would actually look at previous case study to find out whether was there any such cases that happened in the company before, and one of the ways that she would deal with the customer would be maybe asking the customer out for a face-to-face meet and re-explaining the situation, trying to diffuse the situation, more towards handling the situation with a personal face-to-face touch. What about you? How would you, as a manager, how would you deal with this situation?
Okay, I think...
Okay, before that, just remember, take in mind, act as if the company is yours.
Okay.
And come up with a solution as you see fit. Yes.
Okay. So basically, as a company owner, I think I should be aware of what is in and out of every processes, because I know every application should have been submitted to me. Then I know that we have a client we are dealing with. Now, maybe something like that occurs on the way, then the case is being brought back to me that there is a delay. I think the better way is just inviting our clients. Then I should be able to explain the whole processes. This is for the sake of reputational damage and customer, I think, let me say, client sustainability, and to retain our service procurement, because if we cannot handle the matter properly, the customer will not accept that the error is from their end. But as an organization, I think I as the head, I was make sure that I am able to convince them back on track.
Okay, how would you specifically try to convince them?
Yeah.
How?
Considering me as the head, I think I should be able to develop a standard strategy of making sure that the whole project is being perused, analyzed, and I put it in another shell where maybe I'll add some strategy like give me some time, then I'm going to look at the whole process, then I apply again. But first, I must make sure that the client understand the new time factor.
Okay.
New time factor. To be able to allow us to align as a team. Yeah, because that team is very important. If the client doesn't understand that we have to work as a team, then there is a problem. So
Understood.
time frame is very important.
Okay. So you would try to re-explain to the client, to the said client, and try to realign you want to give any ideas. It's not every time you get to be in a position whereby you are the decision maker, you are the manager of the company. Bayangkan the company is yours. Now you get this case escalated to you. How would you treat the customer? Or how would you deal with the complaint? Okay, supposed to take 1 month. Now it's being dragged to 3 months. In the middle is because of client issue. Okay, but now after 3 months you have already documents complete, and this is a high value client. But now the client is complaining. You as the manager, you got this case, you got this complaint case. What is your next step? How do you resolve this? Don't need
I have
to...
an opinion.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes, yeah, it's true, customer is always right. Yeah, it's true. But sometimes you have to let them, the problematic customer, go.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I did it before. Yeah, you're going to lose, but it's better that way.
Okay.
Do you agree with me?
Mr. Fuad is already there, is ready to let go of the customer. No stress. Simple life. Okay, maybe Zubir, if you are the manager right now over here, how would you deal with this client's complaint? How would you move on with the situation?
Gather all the background information I need. Tea time. Reassure him. Make him feel comfortable.
Okay.
And then step 3 action is that I will personally take the case.
Okay. Alright. So he will personally take over the case, handle the case, and basically
Yes.
proceed with the loan. Can we proceed with the loan?
Proceed, yes.
We can proceed with the loan.
Yes. Everything is complete.
It's a high value. The only thing right now is the complaint. Is the complaint that you need to solve, right? Okay, so same thing. Usually, if we look at the entire problem objectively, okay, client wants to get a loan. To get a loan, you need the documents to be ready. Now, the documents took 3 months to be ready. Documents appreciate your feedback about the customer service agent, and I will take into account that I will look into the matter personally and provide additional training for my staff if needed. Just tell the things just mention to the client what you think might make them happy or satisfied. Usually people complain, they want certain action to be taken, correct? Whether or not you as the manager, you do something to your staff, whether do you discipline your staff, whether do you lecture your staff, would they actually know? They don't know, correct? They will not know. But from your end, you are not lying to them as well. You do appreciate their feedback, you do appreciate them complaining to you, because complaint and feedback are very, very important for an organization to improve and grow. It is very important. So it is important to actually acknowledge their complaint, let them know that you have received the complaint, you understand the context of the complaint, and you will look into the matter personally and make sure that the relevant staff gets additional training if required. From your end, you know the entire problem is the client's problem. So now you deal with your customer service agent, talk to them personally. I deal with the situation, I fully understand you as a customer service agent, I went through your email thread, I went through everything, there's no problem on your end, do not worry. So now you solve the situation, you diffuse the situation with the client, and at the same time you ensure that the customer service agent knows that the entire problem falls on the client, and the customer service agent is not to be blamed. Okay, so in terms of this kind of situation, there are many ways to work around it. In terms of how you decide to move forward with the situation, actually it depends entirely on your organization. What is your organization, what is the focus, what is the end goal, what are you trying to achieve? Okay, are you trying to achieve more sales, which is more, what is most organization look for? And if by saying the right things to the client can help with sales, then I believe most of the business owner would choose to respond very strategically to the client. Okay, so back to core communication skills. So communication skills is very important. How you face certain things, how you decide to handle certain situations really affects the outcome and the result of your business. So again, just to recap, your tone control and your pacing, lower your tone, slow down your pace, urgency in your voice fuels the customer's agitation as well. Number 2 is active listening. Okay, so when just now the situation, when we actually really try to fully understand the whole situation, we can actually come up with a few ideas to get back to the customer. So for example, just now the situation, if you the entire situation into ChatGPT, you can actually prompt the ChatGPT, ask the ChatGPT to come up with 3 ideas on how I can deal with this difficult customer. Yeah. But to get a better response from ChatGPT, it is essential that you fill in all the context. Yeah. Customer service did this. The client is asking for this. The current problem is so and so. And then finally, help me to generate 3 ideas. The top 3 ideas that I can get back to the client. Yeah. So ChatGPT is able to give you some ideas as well on how to deal with this. Right. And then thirdly, respond, don't react. Choose professional words. Always remember, avoid blaming or dismissive phrases under pressure. It is definitely a high pressure situation for the customer service agent as well as for the manager as well. But under these circumstances, under this scenario, it is essential to take a step back. And what Mr. Fuad did in terms of protecting himself is to escalate the situation to someone else. Yeah. So in most cases, in terms of customer service, when the situation is 100% client's problem and the customer service officer has done everything in his capability, the next best thing is to actually escalate the situation. So escalation doesn't mean you have to escalate to your supervisor. Escalate can also mean you escalate to your colleague. Last time what our company did was, they had this SOP whereby if the problem is entirely the client's fault, tell the client that I will help to escalate this case to my supervisor, but then actually we are actually escalating to the colleague. But you pakat lah, you work together, teamwork. Because who knows, client wouldn't know that she is your supervisor. On her end, she just need to make it sound like she is the supervisor.
Just scammer.
Not scammer. This is being strategic in your dealing with the client. Yeah. More than 80% of the time, when there is a problematic customer, whereby the problem is the customer's problem, when the customer service agent mention to the client that I'm really sorry about the situation, let me escalate this case to my supervisor to further assist you, usually the client would be slightly happier because they will know, tengok, now I'm going to talk to your supervisor. When the case escalate, the client will start complaining, hey, your previous customer service agent didn't help me with this. What the supervisor needs to do is be the one that open up and hear all the complaint. Oh yes, I understand. Thank you for letting me know. Let me help you solve your situation now. But actually you are just providing the same solution. Yeah. But most of the time it is very effective. Escalating is effective. Escalating to your own colleagues is a very strategic way of solving problematic customer as well. Alright. Next, communicating across service channel. So there are a few ways of communicating across with your clients. First one definitely is face-to-face, which is most of you would be using this channel from my understanding. The second one would be phone, and the third one would be messaging and digital. Okay, first, face-to-face. Body language is very important. When you are talking to a client, it is very important that you actually face the client and have eye contact with the client to actually ensure that the client or customer feels heard, feels respected. Imagine if you are the client and I'm actually talking to you, but I'm actually looking there and I'm actually telling you, okay sir, I don't think this can work. So there is a difference between facing your body position towards the client and away from the client. Yeah. And also actually maintaining eye contact. But in terms of eye contact, you do not necessarily have to keep staring at the client, because sometimes it might make the person feel uneasy as well. Yeah, but the whole idea is your body posture. Make sure that you avoid body posture such as folding your arms when talking to the client. Okay, keep yourself open so that the client actually feels that you are in an open communication with each other. Okay, and in terms of eye contact, just briefly maintain eye contact. You can look away, you can look up, you can look down as you are thinking, as you are formulating your thoughts and ideas, but it's essential to have some kind of eye contact with your clients when doing a face-to-face. And of course, the calm presence carry most of the message is whereby how you position yourself with the client face-to-face, how you calm down your tone and pace yourself when you are actually communicating with someone face-to-face. It actually carries most of the message itself compared to the verbal speech that is being uttered out. Okay, so in terms of face-to-face, the most important part wouldn't be actually the speech, but the body language and the eye contact. Okay, and next, in terms of phone call. So phone calls, there's no visuals. Over the phone, clients are not able to actually look at your face, look at your body language. Client is not able to do that. So instead, if you are doing communication through phone call, very important, your tone and your clarity over the phone call plays a big role. So when you're actually having a phone call with the client, make sure to have a notepad or maybe your notebook or your computer in front of you to take down notes, so that as the client gives you the problem, you are able to jot down the pointers what is the problem, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over the phone you can have a very direct communication whereby you reconfirm with the client, okay, let me just reconfirm with you, your current problem is this, and this, and this, is that correct? For example, hotel booking. Okay, so I think we can come back to the hotel booking for a quick while. Customer called up and told me, my hotel booking is being cancelled by the hotel. I've actually went to the hotel with my booking confirmation and they told me the booking is not valid anymore. So I jotted down, okay, booking cancelled. I asked for the name, clarified the details, make sure it's the right person, right booking name, look for the booking, found the booking on our platform, it is booking confirmed. Okay, then I reconfirm with the client. Can I just reconfirm with you, are you at Four Seasons Hotel in Mumbai? Is that right? Yes, it's right. Now the next part, you mentioned that your booking is cancelled. Can I just reconfirm with you, is the booking that you mentioned from this date to this date, is that correct? Yes, it's right. Okay, now upon checking the hotel's policy and also your booking confirmation on our platform, I realized that this booking has no indication of late check-in. Upon checking, the timing over there right now is midnight 1 a.m. Can I just reconfirm with you what was the issue that have caused you to arrive at the hotel late? Start asking questions and jot it down. This is over the phone call. Over the phone call, you do not have to necessarily think about your body language and your expression too much, but instead focus on the tone and also the clarity of the message. And in terms of the clarity of the message, as much as you are able to reconfirm the details with the client, reconfirm the details, reconfirm the details, reconfirm the details. And once you have finally gotten out all the details that you need, then you provide a solution for the client over the phone call. So in terms of this hotel booking, what I did was, I already know that client went against the hotel policy for being late to the hotel. I've already checked with the hotel that there is no rooms available anymore. What is the next step that I can do? Escalate to my manager. If I escalate to my manager, also the same thing, the hotel is unable to be stayed. Correct. The next best option is to recommend another hotel. If I've already tried with the same hotel and I cannot get a room with the same hotel, I know the underlying problem is the client needs a place to stay. We are an online booking platform, so I should be able to just open my platform and look at all the available hotels in the area and provide recommendation for the client.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're talking to them, like, of course, Malaysia time, Indian time is different, right? So when you're talking to them, and then how you manage to find out that the hotel is fully booked? You email or you compare?
Okay, so when I was working in Agoda, when we have this kind of high urgency cases, usually when client calls us, we would tell the client, can I put you on hold for about 5 minutes while I check with the hotel? So we will put the client on hold. We will not end the call, we will put the client on hold. At the same time, we would have another available line to call the hotel directly. Because as a booking platform, we will have all the direct contact number of the person in charge of the hotel. Yeah. So these contact numbers usually for the general public is not available. For our platform, we would have the direct number to contact a certain person in charge to check. Yeah. So what I did is I put him on hold. I called the hotel, got the information that the hotel actually did cancel the booking because the client actually went against the hotel policy and also because the client did not pay in advance. Found out that I cannot get any room from the hotel, so I know my business with this hotel is done. Hotel A, no need of further communications anymore, because any further communication with Hotel A is just going to be a waste of time. So the next step would be I need to continue talking with the client over the phone. At the same time, on my computer, look at the platform and find out all the possible hotels that I'm able to recommend to the client under the same price range for his booking. Yeah. And at the same time, I need to think about ways to comfort the client, whereby I will tell the client that upon checking, your booking is not paid in advance. With that being said, you actually there will not be any issue with refunds or the money being stuck at a certain platform. You can actually proceed with another hotel booking. And with that, actually, I provided an additional service for the client, whereby I just mentioned what hotels are available, the price range, and once the client is agreeable to this hotel and this price, I will make the changes directly for him through the system, so that the client do not actually have to make the new booking himself. Yeah, so everything is done verbally over the phone. Yeah, of course the payment, last time when I was working in Agoda, payment can be done over the phone as well. So we'll connect the client to an automated payment system, whereby they will input their card number using the phone keypad. Yeah.
How far can you go for the customer? How far are you willing to go for the customer?
How far am I willing to go for that particular customer? Or
Any different customer?
okay, very good question. In terms of customer service is my passion, so I've worked in a few different platforms before, even in a sales platform, fintech platform, gaming platform, booking platform. So I always like to solve customers' problem. I like their problems, because in my head is every problem is an opportunity. So if I can turn customers' problem into a solution and make them happy, it gives me a great sense of achievement. Yeah, beyond the monetary payment from the company, definitely being able to solve clients' problem and knowing that they are satisfied with your service as an individual customer service, that actually gives me a great sense of achievement. So in terms of how far am I willing to go, sometimes I do go as far as the company policy allows. Sometimes I do go beyond that. But of course, when I do that, I usually will have my backup, whereby I will tell my supervisor that, in the future, if there are special cases, am I allowed to provide customer additional benefits, or to what extent am I able to provide? Yeah. Usually I will check with my supervisor or my manager first before going to that extent. But usually I would say it's a balance, because usually company wouldn't want to lose too much as well. They want to protect their costing as much as possible. But sometimes in special situations, we would give out additional benefits just to make sure the client is happy. Especially when the issue is an internal issue. It's not the client's issue. Yeah. So I would say that if it's an internal issue, I would try to make sure that the client gets something additional from their original deal, to make sure that they are to a certain extent satisfied, and they are willing to come back and to be our customer in the future again. Yeah, I think that's the most ideal situation for both businesses. And in terms of all businesses, I believe that the bosses, they want their customer service agents to proactively think of different creative ways to deal with different customers' problems. Yeah.
Is there any tips when you face difficult clients face to face, handle your body language? Sometimes
Okay.
body language too.
Yes. I think in terms of face-to-face, it would be a client that, it is the company's fault. That one was an when I was working at insurance. So it is definitely some error in terms of the policy, and the client is not happy with that, and we actually met face to face, and he actually scolded me in front of in public. Yeah, face to face. But how your question was how I dealt with it?
Yes, how to control your body, you know. Sometimes bukan senyum tapi body tak boleh.
Okay, in terms of getting into argument, I think all of you got into arguments before, even not with clients, maybe with your friends, your family, and things like that. If someone is arguing with you right now, what is your natural response? Walk away, right? Walk away. Some people will walk away.
Tapi if client you cannot move away.
Correct. If client, you cannot move away. So this is the part where it really tests an individual's capability of handling and also absorbing this kind of negative forces. Yeah. So fortunately for me, I think I'm a person with a high tolerance. So even how badly he or she tries to scold me, of course I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't do that, but I would try to always maintain a expression where I'm still smiling, keeping it professional, and acknowledging. I think the acknowledgement part is very important. So the tips would be which we will go into later. But since you asked that, acknowledging would be one of the quickest way to de-escalate the situation. Acknowledging meaning to say that you would tell the client, Miss Ashikin, I understand that you are feeling very frustrated right now. Totally understand. If I were in your shoes, I would be angry as well. Acknowledge their feeling. The more you acknowledge their feeling, the more they will feel like, okay lah, at least this person willing to listen to me. This person is willing to, understand and acknowledge that I'm angry. One more tip is to make sure you know the name of the person you are talking to, very important, so that when necessarily you bring up their name, mention their name. It gives a sense of personal closeness, and from there they will feel like they are being heard. They will feel like they are being understood. Yeah, that would be the one thing I would say would be very helpful in terms of dealing with a face-to-face confrontation. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah. Now, next we move on to messaging and digital. Yeah. Okay, so messaging and digital. This one I would say is not to say the easiest, but one of the channel that is less pressured but very important to keep a consistent service quality in terms of messaging, in terms of digital channel, in terms of messaging. Why? It's because when you do a face-to-face, usually people remember through your impression, through your explanation, through your tone. They remember that. They don't focus too much on the details unless they have a recorder recording everything you say. Same goes for the phone. But for messaging and digital, because everything is typed out using message, the client can easily screenshot your message, post online, post on social media, post anywhere, complain to your boss, correct? So this one, although in terms of the pressure, it's less pressure, you have more time to respond, but you need to make sure that your consistency is always there. Meaning to say, if you tell client A, this is the way, you cannot suddenly go and tell client B, there's another way. People will start complaining. Why my friend can get this and I cannot get this? Why my friend can get this discount, I'm unable to get this discount? Yeah. So in terms of messaging and digital, the importance of it is in terms of your wording and your consistency in terms of delivering the service. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes people read messages too differently.
Yes. Correct.
How kita nak handle?
Okay. when you say sometimes the client read the message is different. Okay, so that comes to you understand, because through messaging and digital, okay, although it's not verbal, it's not face to face, you can also reconfirm with the client. So meaning to say, whenever client asks something, if ever you are not clear with the request, make sure you reconfirm with the client. Yeah. But of course, when you reconfirm with the client, sometimes client can get agitated if you ask too many questions. They will say things like, why are you asking me so many things? Shouldn't you be providing me the answer? But what I mean is, in terms of to curb the problem of different customer understanding the message differently, that one I think mainly you try to understand what the customer wants first by reconfirming through message before providing the answer back to them. Yeah. And just in case you are worried that they get the wrong idea or the wrong message, you can always prompt them to tell them, if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, feel free to feel free to get back to me with your questions. Yeah. Let them know that you are willing to clear their doubts and concerns. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, so for this, we are going to do a quick practice, communication under pressure. Any volunteers? No volunteers. Okay, it's okay. Actually, we did actually did this part just now with the loan situation already. Maybe I will just share with you, instead of doing this exercise, I will give you another personal situation of mine, whereby when I used to work in a financial institution, it's actually not a financial institution, a fintech company, okay, where we have clients to register accounts with our website, and we have money coming in, deposits coming in, and we have withdrawals going out. So we are essentially handling the money flow, the money part of the client. Alright, so the problem with this client is that it's a fintech company. They registered an account with us. Okay, everything is sorted. Now, the problem was, one day the client was unable to log into their account. Okay, client was unable to log into their account and started chatting with us through our website, live chat. Okay, so problem is, I'm unable to log into my account, please help me. Let's say if you are the customer service agent, what is your first thing that you would try to respond to the client? Okay, so fintech company, so you can think of it, it's let's say a service that provides, you know, forex trading? Forex trading, or let's say stocks trading, trade saham. So it's like a account where the client can register an account, they can put money in, and they can make a certain investment. Yeah, so it's that kind of platform. Okay, so now the client one day comes to you and say, I'm unable to log into my account. Okay, so how would you deal with the situation? Now this is live chat, not over the phone call, not face to face. So you just have to reply to so you just have to give me a rough idea on how you are going to reply to the client. I'm unable to log into my account. Okay, you want to try?
Can I have your ID?
Okay, reconfirm. Can I get your ID? What else? Why?
When
When?
where was last time?
Okay, where was the last time? Okay.
How many times?
How many times do you try to log in? Now put yourself into the client's position. Okay, let's say you are the client. Inside the account you have 50,000 ringgit inside. You are investing in stocks. Okay, 50,000 ringgit, so about around 10,000 US dollars, 10 to 15,000 US dollars. You have that much amount in the brokerage account, and now you are unable to log into the account. First and foremost, would you be frustrated? Maybe you are not angry because you don't know what's exactly is the situation actually is. Will you be worried? Worried because your money is at stake, right? Once you are worried, you look for help, you look for solution. That's why you go and look for the customer service agent. Okay, so you as the customer service agent, now you got this situation. The first thing is to think of what is the pressure point of the customer. What is pressuring the customer? Okay, the first thing you need to think of is not logging in. Bukan log in punya pasal. It's not the matter about logging in. It's the matter about the money. That's the main concern. If I cannot log into the account, but I know that the money can withdraw back to my bank account and I can use another website, is it okay? Okay. No problem, right? So what is the pressure point? The pressure point is the money. Okay. But why will the customer be worried about the money? Is because he is unable to log into the access to the account. Okay. So again, client come to you, and I'm unable to log into my account. You will reconfirm the details with the client. What is your name? Okay, may I have your ID just for verification purposes before I further assist you? Okay. Now, when they are texting you on the live chat, just think of it, WhatsApp messaging, okay? WhatsApp messaging, they are texting you, I'm so and so, my name is Harun Cham, this is my ID, I'm unable to log into my account, can you please help me? I'm worried. Okay, once they already verified their personal details, what would you do next? Okay, check on your system, okay? Because you are the customer service personnel for the platform, you have the access to the platform back end, you are able to check the data. Okay, now you check everything, the account is normal, there is money inside, you are able to see the money even though the customer didn't tell you how much money I have in my account, but you are able to see. Okay, dalam tu there is 50,000 ringgit sitting inside the account. The account is normal, the account is not blocked. Verify ownership. Okay, let's say the customer already texts you using the registered phone number on WhatsApp. So the account also, you can see this account is registered Harun Cham, the ID number. The phone number that was registered with this account is also this number, correct number. The client is using this number to contact me also. I completely verified that this is the correct person already, and they are telling me they are unable to access the account. What is the next step?
You want me to further assist you so that you can see your account?
Okay, now you want to see the account.
Tak, orang tu lah.
Okay.
Kita assist dia.
Okay.
Untuk macam kita bagi tahu dia nak buka macam mana apa semua kan.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, like since maybe it's like forgot the password. Maybe when you log in, so
Okay, now the
Assist dia.
Emmanuel, do you know why did the customer is unable to log in? There's a lot of possibilities, right? Okay, so one of the best way, since it's text messages, one of the best way is to ask the customer, would you be able to provide me with what is the best way to identify a problem straight away? Are you able to identify the problem using just the word? If picture, screenshot. So think of it, screenshot. If message you cannot find out exactly why dia tak boleh, why the client is not able to log in, the next best way is to screenshot. So some clients, maybe they are older, they say, I do not know how to screenshot. We used to go to the extent to teach the customer, may I know what is the phone model you are using? Samsung this is. Okay, to screenshot, you just need to press the power button on the left and the volume button on the right. then you are able to send me a screenshot. So what I used to do as a customer service agent for that would be providing each and every step for the client to tell me what is their problem, because they only send in a text message, right? So now they provided a screenshot. It says wrong password. There, I know they are unable to log in because of. Sometimes we do not have to overcomplicate the problem. We just have to think very simply, what is the next best thing to do? What is the next best way to find out the problem? Because if you keep telling the client, I have checked your account, there is no problem, you can log in, then the client is going to bomb you again. But I've tried the whole morning, cannot. And you ask the client to try again, dia try. If you try, account blocked because of too many wrong password. Then he's going to bomb you again and say, the customer service asked me to try again. Now my account, another problem.
Because sometimes the capital letter and small letter also.
Correct. Correct. Okay, so in terms of the tone, since that one was messaging, the next best way is to actually let the client feel acknowledged about his problem and not jumping into conclusion. Although you are able to check the back end, the account is no problem, the account is normal, everything, but since the customer is coming to you with a problem, the best thing is to acknowledge the problem, understand that the pressure is with the money. The client wouldn't come to you with no problem. Definitely there's a problem, and it is your responsibility trying your best to figure out what exactly is the problem. Most of the time, the problem with all these online platform, accounts, website, the problem is very, very minor. It's very small issue. The only issue is either forgetting password, or either the client is not familiar with the platform, they do not know where to click and this and that. So asking for a screenshot really helps if you are using messaging and doing a digital channel. Yeah, asking for screenshot, and if screenshot doesn't work, maybe you can ask, can we do a quick video call, maybe you can show me your screen, I can help to further help you with the situation. Okay, and most of the time, although you are a professional customer service agent, but most of the time it's very useful to just use plain language to deal with clients. Yeah, because clients, they are just normal human beings. They prefer if they can communicate with someone using their normal language instead of all the professional words that you might be using internally with your customer. And finally, did the customer end up feeling hurt? Yes or no, that one depends on how you actually interact with the client. Yeah. So if for the same situation, if your response was just to tell the client, please hold on while I check your account for you, and then you check the account is normal, no problem. And if you just tell the client that normal, you are able to log in as per usual, there's no problem with your account, maybe that could be the standard response. But to further elevate your customer service and your client's experience with you, it would be best, since that they have already told you I cannot log in, it would be best to find out exactly why they are not able to log in. Yeah. And in that scenario, the best case or the best way to find out would be by asking the client to provide you with a simple screenshot to show the screen that is indicating why you are unable to log into your account. I think this standard procedure is used in financial institutions as well, Maybank, Public Bank, or the bank institutions. When you actually call up their customer service and you tell them that I'm facing a problem with my account, usually they will ask you, can you provide me with the, not screenshot, but they ask you to provide the error code. May I know what is the error that is shown? Because from the error code, the bank officer will be able to pinpoint what exactly the problem is. Yeah. So depending on your company's standard operating procedure, you find out the best way to respond to the client. Okay, with that, let's take a short break first before we continue to our final two modules. let's take a 5-minute quick break and we'll come back after that. Okay. Our last two modules, module 3 is managing pressure and emotional control. So just now earlier on, we spoke about what we are going to go through. Firstly is identify pressure situations. Secondly is to communicate professionally. And then we were able to learn how to manage your emotions. And lastly, apply service recovery. So we are going through our last two modules for now, yeah? Okay. Okay, so to stay composed under high pressure, it is actually a very challenging skill to have, which just now also you mentioned. If you were to face a client face to face, whereby he or she is giving you a very, very difficult situation, especially plus it's work related, and someone messed up somewhere, either on the client side or either from your side, how are you actually going to deal with it? That is the very crucial challenges. And usually the causes of pressure, what causes pressure usually? Stress, okay. Emotional drain causes pressure as well. From the client's end, what else would cause pressure? What will cause the customer service the feeling of being pressured? Timeline. Apart from having problems, difficult conversations, emotional customers, these are some of the things, yeah. Timeline would fit under peak periods, you know, when sometimes you go to a bank and you notice there are only 3 officers there, but there's like 30 people waiting across the room, and then all the officers will feel the pressure of like, I have to solve this problem as soon as I can so that I take care of my other clients that are waiting as well. Okay, so the timeline. What else? System error, system and chatbot errors. Sometimes your company's system might malfunction. Sometimes your chatbot might malfunction. So chatbot would be the AI chatbot that I was mentioning. So if your company decide to implement chatbot into the company system, into the website, if the chatbot were to malfunction, chatbot malfunction will happen, yeah, because AI is a technology tool. So you all always hear of the term, sorry, we are facing technical difficulties. So for the chatbot, it is a technology as well, so it will malfunction as well. So if the chatbot malfunction and you as the real person, real customer service agent for that company, maybe client will call you up. I've tried to look for a solution through your website, but have a look at this screenshot, see what your chatbot is telling me. Your chatbot is giving me crazy answers. It's saying that I can get up to 95% discount for your services. Is that true? You start to get pressured, not knowing whether that is true or not true, if let's say the company were to use chatbot. So that is one of the disadvantages if you actually were to implement chatbot, yeah. The company needs to have maybe a technician or engineer, software engineer, to be ready to decode or solve any kind of technical problems the chatbot might have. That's very crucial. And you as the customer service agent, you would feel high pressure if this kind of error happen, whereby it's outside of your knowledge even. Usually you will feel pressured if somebody were to talk to you about something that is beyond your capability, beyond your knowledge. But if let's say you are very well versed with PR, you are very well versed with marketing, you know how to manage events, you know how to manage a whole structured team. If someone were to come to you and and tell you, hey, you have a problem with this team so and so, or with this structure of your organization, you wouldn't be as pressured because it is under your capability. It is what you do. So if somebody were to come to you and ask you something related to IT or maybe coding, you wouldn't feel that pressured compared to, for example, her, because her specialty is dealing with administrative work. Her specialty is dealing with training related things. So for her, she would feel pressured if someone were to ask her about IT related. Correct. And you would feel pressured if you were working with a training provider as the IT guy, but you are being asked in terms of the training modules, how much the fees cost, things like that. You would feel a certain pressure, right? Okay, so the causes of pressure is the one thing that you need to be clear of right off in the beginning. Okay, what are some of the causes of pressure? Because this one is very important for you to actually find out what is the best solution to deal with this specific customer. Yeah. If right off in the beginning you know that what pressure this customer is facing, or what are the factors that is causing the pressure, you'll be able to better put yourself in a position to handle the customer or the client. Right. Causes of pressure, again, emotional customers. If the client is someone that you know of, that is, that has always been coming back to your customer service team, and you have feedback from your colleagues that, Miss or Mr. so and so is an emotional customer. Usually he will come to us and starts off by not giving us a question, but start off by scolding us first, start off by complaining first. So that is a huge pressure to deal with that kind of client itself. Even before you want to help settle their problem or solve their problem, they are scolding you already. Yeah. So that is one main cause of pressure. Difficult conversation. Okay, in terms of difficult conversations, it's more so of the conversations whereby maybe you are unable to make decision right there and then. You are not the decision maker. That is why that would be the main reason it would cause the situation to be a high pressure situation. Because you know for a fact that if a client were to give you so and so situation, you are unable to straight away provide an answer or a decision to them, hence creating the pressure with them. Okay. Next, to stay composed under pressure requires emotional discipline as well. Okay, so emotional discipline means you yourself, you need to manage your own reaction. Yeah, you need to understand that different people, different individuals, they have different kind of emotional reaction towards situations. So maybe for the same situation, for example, the loan application situation just now where we mentioned, okay, different individual, just now we did a quick test, each of you would have a different idea on how you would like to react to the situation or how you would respond to the situation. So similarly, if you are the loan officer, like Mr. Fuad just now, if you are the one that is handling the loan application, when you face this same scenario, emotionally, you would have a different reaction compared to him. If you are someone who has high tolerance, maybe you would just brush it off. You would think of it, yeah, just another problematic customer, no problem, let it go. But for someone else, it might be something heavy for them, especially with knowing that they have already tried their best. I've tried my best, I've did everything I can in my capability to solve his problem, his or her problem, but then at the end of the day, I'm still being targeted, I'm still being complained about. Okay, so in terms of your reaction, everyone needs to understand what is their limit, what is their boundary, or what is your tolerance. What is the limit of your tolerance? Are you the type of person that as soon as you get a complaint, you would feel deeply affected internally? Or are you the person who would be affected externally? If externally, you need to manage that even more cautiously. Because if externally you are very reactive, meaning to say if someone were to complain to you, straight off your facial expression would change. Client would be able to tell, okay, this lady is angry at me, this guy is angry at me for putting the wrong location. That would be something that you need to work on. So emotional discipline means managing your own reaction first. You need to understand how are you as a person when it comes to high pressure situation, because you would be unable to calm a customer if you are unable to calm yourself down. Yeah, this part here is very, very important, and this emotional discipline takes time to practice and takes time to develop. Yeah, it is not something that today I tell myself that, okay, in the future, if I get any situation, any difficult situation, I will not react straight away. It's not something that you tell yourself. It's something that you constantly practice. Yeah, and how would you be able to practice this? Is through feedback. Is through feedback. Last time, what I used to do when I was doing face-to-face customer service would be every time after an interaction with the client face-to-face, every time when I'm just about to close off the situation or close off the interaction, I would always ask, by the way, Mr. M, if possible, can I just get your feedback on how you felt about our interaction? And the whole reason I'm asking you this is so that I can improve my service to my future clients. Most of the time, they would willingly share with you. Yeah. People are more inclined to share with you about what they think and their opinion and their idea. Is that correct? Because all of us mostly are like that as well. If you ask about opinions and your view, you say, I think this is this, I think you should do this, I think you should do this. Usually people are more inclined to share. So if you are genuine, if you are genuinely asking, if I have already solved all your issues, may I just politely ask for your feedback? How do you feel? How did you feel about our interaction? I would like to get a feedback. Even if it's a negative feedback, I would like to know. And let them know. Tell them very directly, the whole reason I'm trying to find out is so that I can improve my service for you in the future, in fact. Yeah. And usually when you make a direct ask with a very specific reasoning, usually they would tell you, oh, Mr. Cham, I think you spoke too fast earlier. I actually missed out on a lot of important details. Yeah. Some people would tell you straight up. Or even I got feedback, oh, Mr. Cham, I think you spoke too much. There was too much unnecessary pointers that you brought up. I just wanted to know A, but you told me A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah. So then you take into account. Next time, just focus on the main points. Yeah. But this part, this emotional part, it really depends, yeah. Not everyone is receptive to feedback, especially negative feedback. Everyone is okay receiving compliments, no doubt. Okay, everyone is okay receiving, oh, Miss Ashikin did well, she solved my problem. Everyone is okay with receiving compliments. In fact, we like to receive compliments that we done a good job. But not everyone is open to criticism or negative feedback. Yeah. So if we want to really break through in terms of our own development, we need to be open to get negative feedback. Because at the end of the day, think of it this way. Yes, I might have done something wrong this time. I might have done, it could have been better. It would be much worse if I did not know I made this mistake and I continue with the mistake with my next client and my future client. Correct? Maybe now I'm only dealing with $1 million loan application. But in the future, who knows? I might deal with a $10 million USD loan application. So instead of being rejectful or being afraid of getting negative feedback, it would be much better if you start now, because we need to start somewhere. If you start now and start getting these criticisms or negative feedback, so that you can improve yourself, so that you can further elevate yourself in terms of career building. Yeah. So in terms of emotional discipline, you need to be able to manage your own reaction first, and based on each individual, you yourself, you know yourself best. You know what is your limit, you know what's your tolerance. So as much as you would like to tolerate, know that everyone have their own limit. When you are about to hit your limit, make sure you walk off from unnecessary situations to prevent yourself from exploding, because usually when people hit their limit, that's when they will explode, and we want to, as much as possible, prevent that from happening, especially right in front of the client. Yeah. Okay, next would be your composure techniques. So staying composed under pressure. One of the simplest technique would be breathing before you reply. Sometimes if you realize some people, they get very nervous or they get very tense in a situation with a client, they tend to want to go back and forth. They just want to debate with the client or debate with their colleague, and they forget to breathe. They are so in the urgent of trying to be the right, trying to be the one that wants to win over the conversation, they forget to breathe. So one of the easiest technique is to breathe before replying, and after breathing, naming the tension to tame it. So it is normal for you to feel frustrated. Okay, it is normal for you to feel agitated. It is normal for you to feel angry, especially during dealing with clients. All those are perfectly normal. Okay, what can help would be, after taking a deep breath, okay, once you know that internally you are feeling off balance, you are not feeling normal anymore, you need to, as quickly as possible, name the tension to yourself, not to anyone else but to yourself. I know I'm feeling angry right now. I need to take a pause. I know I'm feeling frustrated because this client just scolded me for something that I did not do. I need to acknowledge it. It is not wise to react back, but it would be helpful if you can acknowledge that feeling, if you can name that tension, if you can specifically name it out. What is it actually you are feeling inside? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling agitated? Are you feeling disappointed? Are you feeling angry? Or are you feeling sad because you did such a great job and the client was just, oh, okay, didn't give you much explanation, didn't give you much feedback, didn't give you a compliment, just a straight face? What is it exactly you are feeling uneasy about inside, internally? Acknowledge that inside of you. Know what is exactly happening. Once you acknowledge that, remind yourself, I need to try my best to not let the client in front of me know that I'm feeling angry. So that's a bit of a, not to say putting up a poker face, but instead, because poker face is no expression, right? But instead you are acknowledging it so that you are in control, because the whole idea is to stay composed under pressure. You know you are under a lot of pressure. thinking about things that are happening back at home, in your family issues, your personal issues. Now you have to deal with a stranger. You have to deal with a client. And the company isn't even yours. It is someone else's company. It's not even your own company. But you have to help the company deal with the client. It is a very, very tense and high pressure situation. But the whole idea, the whole goal is to be able to stay composed. Even though you are facing that situation, stay composed, stay calm, think of what is the next best solution. How can you, as quickly as possible, solve this issue so that you are able to let this client go peacefully and move on to the next one.
Sometimes client tu pun dia tak mau let go juga.
Yes, correct.
Saya pernah waktu saya mula dulu buat package travel kan, klien tu dia kata dia dapat payment semua. Dia tunjukkan bukti receipt yang dia deposit mesin tu kan dah hilang dia punya tulisan.
Okay.
Kita check dengan account kata tak ada. Kita dekat on the ground, kita tak boleh nak buat apa kan. Dia orang nak juga ada bilik, dia pun dia dah bayar walaupun tak ada tulisan.
Correct.
Dekat account pun tak ada. Dan sekali dia macam dia tarik ada clients kuno kan, walaupun kita dah tarik dia pergi tepi kan, dia mesti nak bagi tahu semua orang.
Yes, correct.
Kan kita punya client yang lain pun ada juga tunggu di belakang.
Yeah.
What I did that moment, I kena let go ada sebab
I see.
kita tak tahu dia punya situasi semua kan, but at the end memang is supposed not to do that lah.
Yeah.
Maksudnya
Yeah.
the boundaries, sebab mesti
Yes.
I pun mungkin I baru kan, so I just nak macam solve the problem.
Yep.
So
And get on with it as quickly as possible. Yeah.
so bagi dia pergi cepat sikit.
Yeah.
Dengar kan.
Yeah.
But that's my mistake lah that time. But pada masa tu, bila kita duduk di tengah, kita dah pergi ke tepi, saya sampai kat dinding dah. Saya dah macam, I cannot go, I'm alone.
Okay.
Kan? For the company, I'm alone. Kan? Tapi, kalau dealing dengan customer yang marah ni, I tanya macam mana nak handle kan. Kita pun macam, ya Allah, kadang takut kita pun keluar juga. Kita pun akan keluar.
Yeah. And in terms of face-to-face client, if you know that you are internally feeling very angry or frustrated, being attacked personally, especially face-to-face, and you know that if you react negatively face-to-face balik with the client, it's not going to help, and you are at your limit already, yes, walk away. Find a reason to walk away as soon as possible instead of exploding in front of the client. Because you have to think of it. When someone is angry at you and when someone starts scolding you, if they get your negative response immediately in front of him or her, they win. Yeah? But if they do not get the response that they were thinking you would, that's when they would not continue anymore. So imagine if you were to fight back, the situation would continue on. But if you find a reason to walk out of the situation, there is a high chances, yes, the customer might still be angry, but at least the situation would not further escalate. Yeah. So in terms of finding ways to walk out of the situation, that one depends on what kind of excuse you can give. Or maybe you can tell the client, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I need to make a move to step out. I need to call my manager. I need to call my boss. Or you can tell the client, I'm really sorry about the situation. Let me call my boss immediately to find out the next solution. Then you walk away, take the call.
Dia kacau.
Yeah.
Situ kacau.
Yeah. Or I'm really sorry, I have to use the washroom. Yeah.
Experience
Yeah, but all these are, I think all these are good experiences, and one of the ways that I used to be able to handle multiple difficult situations last time without myself experiencing it is by talking to a lot of my friends and colleagues. Yeah, especially if you are in the customer service industry or customer service line, for you to talk to more people and understand different situations, you can actually picture that situation first, even before you actually face it. So when you actually face it, when actually the actual situation comes, you are already mentally prepared for it. Yeah, so there are a lot of situations whereby I would ask my friends or colleagues like, so what's new this week? What kind of clients that you got? What kind of difficult clients that you managed to get? And from there, I listen to their experiences. I listen to how they solve it. I listen to what they regret saying and what they regret not saying. And from there, we keep on improving, because in terms of customer service, it's something that is, yes, there is a standard playbook, but there is no definitive right or wrong to the situation, because each and every situation is unique on its own. Yeah, even though it's the same travel package situation, but with a different client, and the way you cope or the way you deal with it is different as well. Yeah, so it's very important actually to talk to your colleagues, to talk to your friends, to understand more about what's going on, what's new, what kind of new tactics the client might throw at you, or what kind of new problem that the client might throw at you. The more you find out, the more prepared you are. The next time a scenario occurs, you are mentally prepared. Yeah, so you'll be able to at least internally you'll be able to breathe and think, oh, yeah, Mr. M told me about this last week. Yeah, and he said that he regretted not doing this step. Okay, so this time let me try and see whether this works. Yeah. Okay, so brief before replying, name the tension to tame it. Actually, this was one of the best advice that was given to me. And this one actually, it's I think it applies to almost any aspect in life. So I actually apply naming the tension to tame it, this specific technique, in almost all of my aspect in life, whereby if I were to deal with a family issue, if I were to go back, I have to deal with a family issue, and I started feeling a certain way that is not how I would naturally feel, I would try to, as soon as possible, name what is the tension am I feeling? What is it exactly am I feeling inside? Am I feeling upset? Am I feeling disappointed? If so, why? Why do I feel disappointed? Why am I feeling upset? And then I try to find out what was the trigger, what was the causes, what was the cause of that pressure, what is the feeling, what is the cause of that feeling. And from there, I evaluate further. Is there something that I can do to solve the problem? Is it beyond my control or within my control? If it's beyond my control, then okay, there's nothing I can do about it. But if it is within my control, I have to properly understand what is exactly the problem, what is exactly the upsetting feeling that I'm feeling, to be able to make the right choice. Yeah, because if you make a decision without properly understanding why you are feeling a certain way, most of the time you will end up making a decision that you might regret after that. Yeah, so it's important to actually name the tension internally. Find out internally, tell yourself internally. Yeah, because you yourself know yourself best. Okay, and next, workplace resilience. In terms of workplace resilience, is more towards your mindset, being able to adapt to change. Alright, keeping a professional mindset and protect service quality over time. Okay, so in terms of workplace resilience, one of the main issue that I used to face previously when I was heading the training department for the customer service team for my previous company in Philippines was that a lot of employees, especially customer service agent, they have this mindset of, I'm just coming for a 9 to 5 job, taking a basic salary, that's all. That's all I need to do. I just need to make sure I'm there for 8 hours, I do my bare minimum, done. I'm done with my work. So, what I used to always tell them is this: you have to think as if the company belongs to you, although it's hard to picture that. That's why I have to always try to apply for them a higher salary so that they feel more motivated. Okay, but it's normal. But the main important part is they need to be willing to adapt to changes, because different companies have different policies. Some people, they might come from a big company to the current company, and they will always have this mindset thinking, why do I have to do it this way? Last time my boss, I do that way, okay je? So they are not willing to adapt. Once they are not willing to adapt, most of the time they are going to face issues dealing with their. Firstly is knowing that currently you are working for whichever company, you need to adapt to their standard operating procedure. You need to adapt to that changes, and then keeping a professional mindset whereby you need to always emphasize, implant it into your brain. Yes, I am an employee for this company, but I need to act as if this company is mine. Customer service agent for whichever company, I always tell the people that I speak with, the customer service agent is the most important person in the company. Not the boss, not the managers, the customer service ground staff himself or herself. Because what they say, how they react to the clients, it will directly impact the brand and the image itself. Even before the client get to speak with the boss, even if the client want to escalate and complain to the boss, they will talk to the customer service agent first. So customer service agent actually plays a very, very, very huge role in the organization. To be able to have 1 or 2 high quality customer service agent defeats having 10 who are just sitting there to get a paycheck, 9 to 5 paycheck. Yeah. So these agents needs to have the mindset of the company is theirs, and the boss needs to find a way to motivate the employees to think that way. By setting KPI, by setting certain motivations. The manager or the boss needs to come up with ideas, to make sure that the customer service employee have the proper mindset to deal with existing clients. And usually the best motivation is, yes, you are ready to be a boss already. You got the right mindset and the right framework and the right strategy. Okay, so again, staying composed under pressure, the causes of pressure: emotional discipline, composure techniques, workplace resilience. So workplace resilience is more towards your mindset. Composure techniques is more towards some of your personal techniques that you choose to implement. Emotional discipline is also something internal. Causes of pressure is more towards the understanding of the situation. How you understand the situation affects how you deal with the situation. The lesser you understand, the less effective you deal with the situation. The more, the better you understand how the whole situation is, the more effective and the better you are able to handle situations. Okay? Now, scenario: keeping calm in the red zone. It is peak hour. The queue is building. Okay? Your system is slow and the customer is in front of you. A customer in front of you is becoming visibly frustrated. You feel your own stress rising also. Okay, for this scenario, let's think of it as you are working in a bank. Okay, you are working in a private bank. It is peak hour. A queue is building. Okay, there's a long queue building up. Your system is slow. Okay, due to the huge data inflow, your system is slow, and the customer in front of you is becoming visibly frustrated. So think of it, yeah, you are already handling with a client right in front of you, okay, bank, and across the hall you are seeing plenty of customers waiting for you, and it's very, very obvious that the client in front of you is getting frustrated.
Bank.
Yeah. Bank.
Security ya.
Yeah. Security. What about security?
Call security ya.
Call security. Okay. That is a very interesting perspective. Zubair said straight away he will call the security, put the security, stand beside the client. Okay. That can be one of the way as well. If you feel threatened. If you feel threatened that possibly this customer is trying to get physical, violent, okay, getting the security might be one of the way. First, what is the first thing you need to do to keep yourself steady, keep yourself calm? What is the first thing?
Because technical pressure.
Yes, very good. The cause of the pressure building up. You need to find out what's the cause. So in this situation, what is the cause? The system is slow. In the back of your head, you know by the end of today, I need to talk to my manager, ask them to get the technical team, upgrade the system. That is one of the indirect way to solve the situation. But now, what is the thing that I can do now? Since I know the system is slow, what are other things that is causing the pressure? Okay, the system is slow. This is one of the pressure. The queue is building up. So what is the one thing that is making you getting anxious and tension? What is it? When you see more and more people coming in, and you know there's only you and your colleague, 2% working only.
The article was this is
Bank system is slow.
I have the department.
But you know, if you stand up and leave your position to go and talk to your technical team, what will happen there? Only your colleague is left there to handle the stress. Okay, so that's not a very wise thing to do. Okay, so the first thing we understand the pressure build up is due to the system. That's number one. Number two is because of the queue is building. More and more people are coming in. So you yourself, as the front line facing all the clients, you start to feel the pressure building up. I need to get this customer done. I need to deal with more and more customer. Okay, so that's the second pressure. What's the third? Any other pressure point that is coming up? Okay, so the customer in front of you, dia belum complain lagi, haven't complained, but very obvious, the face expression already changed. You know very soon if you do not handle this, he will explode, or he will even complain, he will shout, maybe he will get violent, right? Okay, so you feel your own stress rising. So when you feel your own stress rising, you need to figure out first what is the pressure that is building up. System is slow. Can you immediately fix the system? No, cannot. The queue is building. Is it in your capability to close the door? Okay, no more customer can come in. Enough for today? Cannot, right? Okay, so these two, although yes, it's the pressure. You acknowledge that it is the pressure, but it's not something you can deal with it right now. Yes, have to extra stuff. So system slow, in the back of your head, you already have a plan. I need to go and find the technical team later. I need to go and complain internally. I need to tell my manager, get the system upgraded. Second thing is, I need to tell my supervisor, please, during peak hour, please allocate 1 or 2 more staff to help out. Yeah, so that it will help the whole team to be more effective. So all this is internal feedback, very important as well. Because if you do not provide feedback, you are the front line, you are the one, the ground staff, you are the one doing the work every day there. Your boss is not sitting there, your manager is not sitting there, they don't know. So once you realize this, important, note it down, provide feedback internally to your company and tell them in a very logical way, if we do not upgrade the system, the same problem is going to happen every day. If the same problem happen every day, the client are not going to be happy with the service of Maybank. So if you do not fix this problem, yes, I can handle this, I can tolerate, but are you willing to risk your reputation of the brand? No, right? So yes, provide your feedback to internally. Okay, what is the one thing you can solve right there and then? What is the most direct thing? Okay, Miss Harun say give a bottle of water. Okay, customer is becoming visibly frustrated.
So I can categorize yang klien yang masuk tu nak ke mana kan. Ada semua orang saving ke apa ke kan.
Yep.
So kita categorize dulu.
Yep.
Nanti baru senang dia.
Yep. Okay, so very good. So in terms of bank system, okay, maybe most of us we do not know specifically what is their SOP, what can we do and what cannot do, but what is very direct is acknowledging that the customer is getting frustrated. So that is one of the thing that we can actually acknowledge. Okay, and at the same time, while you find out a way to talk to your customer right in front of you, if it's for me, I would think of the way of using the time of waiting for the system. The customer in front of me, definitely I have to deal with him first. I have to tell the client, I understand that it's taking a long time. I sincerely apologize due to our system, the whatever reason, offline, peak hour, provide the reasoning. After ensuring that the client knows the whole situation, provide a timeline for the customer as well would be helpful. Okay, so usually at the bank, usually my experience would be they would just ask me to wait. It would be more useful if the client knows how long exactly they need to wait. Even if you tell them 30 minutes, at least they have a rough timeline of how long they need to wait compared to, please wait, just wait, instead of just purely waiting without a clear direction. Because usually when people get frustrated is due to the reason that they do not know exactly what they are waiting for or what they are expecting. So if you can give a simple expectation to them, give a simple timeline to them, they would feel much better. Okay, and in terms of the queue that is building up behind the client in front of you, if it's just you and another colleague, take the time while you are waiting for this client, let them know we are waiting for this, please allow me 10 more minutes. Yeah, please expect around 10 more minutes before I give you my answer. At the meantime, if I may ask you to fill up this form, so just in case that if our system fails to work after 10 minutes, at least I have this form, I can proceed after that and call you back after that. And once you find that time slot where you have the availability, directly make your move to the queue behind and start talking to them. Start telling them we are facing some technical difficulties. It would take slightly longer than usual for us to come to you. Yeah. At least you are in interaction with them. Yeah. Whether or not they are going to be happy or continue to be frustrated later on, it's okay, because at least every career you are able to try to remember the LAST framework. In the future, if you encounter any problem, it can be a small problem, it can be a big problem, any problem at all at work, just think of LAST, think of the last. Yeah. Listen, acknowledge the situation, find the best solution and solve it, and then after that thank the client. If you are able to do this, I can guarantee you 90% of the time the client will feel you have a good feeling towards your service. Okay. Now, this one is for your reflection and closing, for you to take it back. Regulate yourself first by you yourself keeping a calm and good posture and slow pace, not talking too fast, okay, not talking in a too high-pitched tone, calming yourself down, lower down tone. Usually it gives the client a huge confidence, knowing that this person is able to solve their problem. Alright? And acknowledge before you explain. Heard first, which is hearing your customer first before solving their issue, because you are not able to solve the issue accurately if you do not hear them out fully. Okay? And then slow down, speak plainly. Remember, clients are just normal human beings. They do not need too many professional words. They need simple explanation, straight to the point, especially after you hearing out what they have to say, providing them with a straightforward solution. And last but not least, recover well and follow up. Okay, if there is a complaint, fix the complaint using the last framework, LAST, listen, acknowledge, solve and thank, and after that do a quick follow-up once everything is done. So once you have settled your problem with the client already, maybe after 1 day, after 2 days, you can follow up with the client. By the way, previously you have brought up the concern or an issue regarding the refund. To my knowledge, the refund has already been processed back to your bank account. I would just like to follow up. Is there any other issues that you are facing? Yeah, that is the follow-up part. The follow-up part is very essential for relationship building. Yeah, so that the client knows that you actually care about them. Even after the first issue is solved, you are actually actively trying to make sure that there is no more issue. Okay? Alright, so that will be the end. Actually, we moved on longer than expected, but that would be the end of the course, for our course. Just a quick, just to see whether you fully understand, there's a short quiz that I've prepared, so you can just use your phone to scan it and take some time to complete it. Yep. Are you all able to access it? Are you able to access it? Boleh ya? Okay. Alright. Apa tu?
Medical number 10.
Oh. It's okay. Okay, once you're done, can you kindly scan the QR for feedback form as well? manage to scan the QR
Yes.
for the feedback as well? Yeah, okay. Yes.
So it seems my phone version is old, not so nothing. I'm done writing, but it's not.
This one is the... Oh, okay.
If you press this, go to cancel everything.
I see. I think it's okay. You can just update. Yeah.
After updating, okay, it's coming. Let me see if it was on. It has been like that for 10 minutes.
I see. Yeah, no problem on that. Yeah. But for the... okay. I see. I see. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. No worries. Later, I'll just send you the link
Okay.
on WhatsApp so that... Okay? So, okay. The quiz is done. The course survey is also done. Last but not least, I would like to thank everyone once again. Thank you for making your way here, spending 4 hours listening to this service under pressure customer service workshop. And at the end of the day, I hope the thing that you take away would be, in terms of customer service, service is human and the impact that we do is long lasting. So in terms of your future work in this customer service industry, I hope that you are able to implement the things that you have learned today, bring forward to what you are about to face in this cruel and harsh world, reality of the world, and not to forget the framework that have been provided, LAST, listen first, acknowledge the feelings, provide solutions, solving it, and lastly, thanking each and every client that you face, because every client, whether it's a problematic one, it is always an opportunity to be able to serve them and provide your services. And with that, I end today's session, and thank you everyone for coming once again, and that's all for today. And after this, we will have a quick photography session together with providing everyone with a certification of completion. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.